Vignettes and scenes are not the same thing. Failing to understand the difference between the two is something that sets up a lot of writers for unnecessary struggle, frustration, and failure. I don't want you to go through that, so I'm going to spend the rest of this video making clear what the differences are, providing you with a means of determining if something is a scene or a vignette, and addressing why it matters so much. The latter part will go much deeper into my standards as a creator I've been passing on to you, but, well, we'll get there when we get there. Anyway, first up, scenes and vignettes. Now, on the surface, they can seem the same. Both are short. Both tend to zero in on a single moment, a single place, a small number of characters. From the outside, neither one looks like a novel or even a full short story. They're small, contained, focused. So, writers look at both and see the same thing, a little slice of something. And, honestly, it doesn't help that vignettes feel dramatic. There's usually a character, a setting, something going on. But as texture, it creates the impression that something is happening without actually delivering what a scene delivers underneath the surface. Pull a scene out of its surrounding story, and it can even start reading like a vignette. Atmospheric, impressionistic, self-contained. Or at least, some might think that it does when reading things on a surface level. When you stay at the surface, the real difference between the two is invisible. And this leads to problems when engaging in construction and diagnostic. To better grasp why, first, we have to look at what each is doing mechanically to see it. So, to do that, let's define some stuff, starting with scenes. When it comes to basic definitions, a scene is a unit of dramatic action. Something happens in it. There's movement, conflict, change, revelation, consequence. Something shifts from where it started. That's the core of what a scene is doing. More importantly, a scene is a building block of a story. It is not a complete structure on its own most of the time, with one exception I'll touch on in a moment. I may have just accidentally made a pun there that'll only make sense in a whatever. Anyway, scenes are a component of a story. They exist to function as part of the story itself. Now, how many you need depends on the type of story you're telling. This brings us to the topic of scope. Scope is the scale of what a story needs to be completed. Think of it like this. Scope answers how much story movement an idea actually needs in order to fulfill its promise. It's not just a matter of length or word count or how many characters you have. It's a matter of what the story requires structurally to function as a whole experience. The small scope of stories is what I call moments. Moment scope stories capture the instant where something becomes different. It's basically built around compressed transformation. The question built around it is, what is the smallest instant where the story's meaning changes? The second scope size is what we'll call situations. In this case, the story is organized around one dramatic setup. This is where a lot of short stories live. For this, things are built around what situation forces change. Journeys, finally, are the last scope structure that matters at this level when discussing scenes. This is where things like novels, feature films, full-length plays, graphic novels, and so forth function. The journey scope begins when one moment or situation is not enough and the character must pursue something over time. The pursuit develops the story, and the character changes because they keep trying, failing, adapting, confronting, losing, gaining, and choosing. This is when the story is built around sustained motion toward an outcome. The bigger the scope, the more scenes are required to complete the story. A moment scope piece asks, can I make one instant meaningful? A situation scope piece asks, can I make one scenario force change? A journey scope piece asks, can I make a pursuit evolve across time? Now, There is something above this with web scope and epic scope, but those are no longer defined by scenes. Web scope is defined by the threads made from moments, situation, journeys, and vignettes, while epic scope units are webs, journeys, arcs, institutions, eras, and systematic transformation. Here, if you want a hierarchy with things, see this. Beats are the smallest units, which make up scenes, which create sequences, which build situations, which make up journeys, which thread into webs, which can become epics when there are enough webs. And yes, I know I haven't touched on beats in this one. They're what make up scenes, and explaining scope in full is a whole topic in and of itself, so we're going to save that deeper dive of this for another day. Regardless, as said, scenes are building blocks of stories. Stories cannot exist without scenes. Vignettes, meanwhile, are not stories. Every single thing above I talked about dealt with transformation. That is why I constantly say that story is transformation under pressure. Vignettes are not that. Vignettes are pieces of writing that capture atmosphere, impression, or texture of a moment. It converts attention into significance. It is not trying to deliver what a scene does mechanically, which is a dramatic action that functions as part of a larger structure. And recognizing this difference is important because of the problem it can create. If you're thinking you're writing scenes when you're actually writing vignettes, your story isn't moving. It's accumulating atmosphere without building anything. You keep adding pieces and nothing clicks into place, because vignettes aren't building blocks. They're not designed to be assembled into a story the way scenes are. A story built entirely from vignettes isn't a story. It's a collection of impressions. Now, I'm certain someone on the other side of things is going to try to, but actually, this had that in it, me, and point out something they like that does that, which they want to copy. So, to address that, I'm going to give you a test and an example, which will make clear the difference. Here are the two questions you must answer to determine if something is a scene or a vignette. Does this event change what happens next? If yes, it's functioning as a scene. For instance, let me use this example from Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. When Kiryu returns to Japan due to his age and sickness, Sun-hee shows up to join the party to spend time with Kiryu and help him spend his time better. She wasn't there before, and she is now, which impacts things. So, everything that happens during the moment she shows up specifically is one scene, and that one scene is part of Kiryu's journey in Infinite Wealth, given how she helps progress things. Now, the game also loves featuring things like party chat and dinner time meals. However, if you want it, you could just never trigger them. You don't lose anything from the actual story if you do miss some, hence why they are vignettes. They still have a place though, given how they can serve the experience as a whole. Which taps into the second question. If you answer no to the above, answer this. Does it reveal something meaningful by capturing one charged moment? If yes, it's a vignette. Good example using Sun-hee again. One party chat involves Kiryu sharing how he would dress up as Santa for the kids at his orphanage in the past. When the topic of pictures of Kiryu dressed as Santa come up, Sun-hee's immediate response is to try and call her spies to track down and get her those pictures. It's a funny moment that touches on the fact that she has a crush on Kiryu, though again, you don't need it for the actual story. It's just a little installment. Oh, and with these two questions, if the answer is no twice, what you have is likely just filler, description, or connective tissue. Chances are you can just cut it then. Now, the reason all this matters is because an inability to see the difference results in people who judge one form by the rules of another. And when that happens, people make major mistakes like 1. Accuse good vignettes of nothing happening. This is the most common issue. I consider this dumb since it's like criticizing a portrait because it doesn't have a card chase. Wrong tool, wrong expectation. 2. Making vignettes bloated by forcing scene machinery in them. In this case, someone starts with a strong charged moment that could be a great vignette, but they panic, so they cram in stuff that makes the piece worse instead of working with the natural form for things. 3. Writing things that are pretty but dramatically useless. This is the opposite danger of the second one, and it can turn things into dead weight. It's a matter of knowing what's needed when, where, and why. 4. Destroying pacing. Scenes create forward motion while vignettes create density, texture, atmosphere, and meaning. A strong work can use both, but it needs to know when it is accelerating and when it is lingering. If a writer can't tell the difference, the pacing becomes mushy. They may put a vignette after vignette when the audience is waiting for plot movement, making the story feel stalled. Or they may rush through charge moments that should linger because they think every unit must advance the plot. Good pacing is not just speed, it's the alternation of movement and attention. Scenes move, vignettes concentrate. You need both, but you need to know which gear you're in. 5. Misdiagnose why a passage fails. This is the most practical danger. If a scene fails, the problem might be that the goal is unclear, or the pressure is weak, or the conflict is soft, or outcomes don't change anything. All kinds of options. If a vignette fails, the problem might be with the subject or lens or whatever. There are different diagnostic systems. If you misclassify the piece, you prescribe the wrong fixes. 6. Flattening character writing. Scenes reveal character through pressure and choice. Vignettes reveal character through attention, pattern, posture, contradiction, habits, and implications. Both are powerful. But if a writer only understands scenes, they'll only think that a character is revealed through big decisions. And if they only understand vignettes, they may avoid choices and keep a character trapped in aesthetic presentation. The best writers use both: pressure to reveal the spine, and attention to reveal the texture. 7. Misunderstanding slice of life, comedy, horror, and literary fragments. There are a lot of forms that depend heavily on vignette logic. Comedy strips, sketch comedy, slice of life episodes, horror flashes, mood paces, erotic fragments, world-building glimpses, day in the life webcomic entries. I could go on and on. If someone thinks real writing always means scene progression, they'll call these things empty. But many of them are not empty. They're working through compression, recognition, rhythm, contrast, implication, and atmosphere. That's why the distinction matters. It lets you respect form that are not built around plot machinery. And 8. Confuse meaning with plot relevance. This is the big philosophical one. Not every meaningful moment is plot relevant. A moment can matter because it reveals a wound, a worldview, a contradiction, a longing, a social truth, a memory pattern, or a mood the audience recognizes. That is vignette meaning. But if someone only sees scene logic, they ask, how does this affect the plot? Sometimes the answer is, it doesn't. It affects the audience's understanding. That's still valuable. But the reverse is also true. Not every atmospheric passage deserves to stay just because it feels meaningful to the writer. If it neither moves the story nor concentrates meaning, then it's probably indulgence. Now, to make it easy to remember all this, just view it as fitting into 3 buckets: mechanical errors, diagnostic errors, and artistic errors. Clarity I've aimed to provide you in this video is meant to help you avoid all those errors. Now, the whole topic of how to fit all this into something bigger is a thing in and of itself that I'll save for later. Again, that's all the web and epic scope stuff. It deals with stuff like series and serials and it's like someone asking me how to build a city skyline without understanding how rooms work, or write a symphony without learning melody. It's frustrating for me to deal with, which is why we're working our way up. Now, if you're interested in that, I highly recommend you subscribe to the channel, since the level of understanding and development you saw in this one is something I can confidently say you won't find anywhere else on this site. If you want to get active with actively constructing stuff like vignettes, I recommend checking out this masterclass I've been putting together exploring the form. If you wish to see me practicing what I preach and being an actual creator, you can experience that for free on my other channel, Story Marc Studios. No matter what, hope this all helped.